Hi there, this is our last lesson using minibridge, and next week we'll graduate to playing full bridge. But remember that the card skills we learned last week and those that we'll see today, they're just as valid as we learn to play the full game as they are in the simplified version of bridge that we've played so far. And I still encourage you to play as much mini bridge as possible for now. Now, see the video I made recently and I circulated to the group to show you how to do that for free on the No Fear Bridge website. The more mini bridge you practice now, the better at playing cards you'll become when we learn proper bridge. Now, this week in our lesson, we're going to look at defense. That's the job of the defenders. Now, as a defender, your job is to work together to defeat declarer's contract. Sometimes it seems that defending is just blindly following suit and hoping that the next deal will be a better one. But actually, there's so much more to defense, and often you can beat the contract, but defense is really difficult. But remember, you have one advantage. You're working as a partnership. So you don't actually need to beat your partner, and defenders can even send each other simple signals to help each other understand what's going on. And we'll see some examples of that in this lesson. But to start though, the very first job of the defense is to play the first card of the deal. It's called the opening lead. Now sometimes the choice of the opening lead can decide the fate of the whole contract, either by guiding the defence to find the tricks they need to beat the contract, or sometimes a careless opening lead gives away tricks to declarer that they would otherwise never have made, and that enables them to secure their contract. So opening leads are really, really important. And one thing to bear in mind in opening leads is that defending against no trumps requires a different approach to defending against trump contracts. So let's look firstly at what to do when you're on lead against no trumps. When leading against no trumps, our aim is always to lead our longest suit. The idea here is that by continuing to play our longest suit, then eventually we'll get to a situation where even our small cards are winning tricks. Now we can afford to be patient. It's okay to lose a trick or two in the hope that by persevering and continuing to play this long suit, we will eventually make more tricks for our side. Partner, of course, needs to be alert. Remember that they need to remember what suit you led, and they must play it back at every opportunity. Let's look at an example. With this suit here, we've got two equally long suits. We've got spades and diamonds, but clearly our strongest suit is spades. And in spades, we've got an ideal choice of opening lead here. We've got a sequence of three continuous cards headed by an honor. The king, queen, jack of spades is a sequence. Okay, so here what we do is we lead the top of that sequence to send a very clear message to our partner. We lead the king, and it sends this message. It says to partner, I'm leading the king because I also hold the queen. I love this suit. I've probably also got the jack as well, by the way. So please consider continuing spades when you get in, and we will win some tricks in the spade suit. Now, some players are reluctant to lead the king of spades here. They're worried that it might be seen to be wasting the king. After all, if you don't have the ace, the king is going to lose to the ace. But that's not the right logic here. What you need to consider here is that by leading the king, you're sacrificing it in order to promote both the queen, the jack, and possibly even the eight. By the time you get round to playing the eight, there might not be many spades left in any of the other hands. So the eight might even become a winner. So it's far more useful to play the king and send this powerful signal to partner that says, partner, I'm playing the king because I've got the queen. Okay, it becomes very clear to your partner why you're leading that particular suit and what cards you have in that suit. So the power of sending these signals is so important. Many players will make the mistake of not leading the king here, and that's a really poor error in your bridge. Okay, so always look to lead top of a sequence against no trump contracts. A top of a sequence of three cards against no trump contracts is what you're looking for. Okay, if you have a good suit, but you don't have a sequence of 3 cards, let's have a look at what you do. What we then say is it's best to lead that suit, but rather than lead a high card, you actually lead the 4th highest of your long suit. So let's see an example here. Here, again, on lead against no trumps, we would want to lead the diamond suit. It's our longest suit, and it's also arguably our strongest suit. Okay, but here, because we don't have a continuous sequence of honor cards, we don't have the king, queen, jack, we just have the king and jack. We would choose to lead the 4th highest. Now, that's a sort of convention. That's a standard piece of logic in bridge that's been worked for years, and that's the way people. That's what we do. There's a reason for it, but the reason is probably too technical for this stage in our bridge career. So just accept that you lead the 4th highest, and the 4th highest here leads a different. It sends a different sort of signal to partner. You're leading a low card. A low card says, "I like," low for like. Think of low for like. I like this suit. I'm leading a low card because I probably hold an honor card, so please consider diamonds if you get in. So the idea here is not such a clear-cut, strong signal as leading an honor card. If you lead an honor card, it's a very powerful signal. I absolutely love this suit. Here it's saying, this is a good suit for me. I've maybe got some good cards in it. Probably play it back if you can, unless you can think of something better to do. So this idea of leading 4th highest from our long suit, it comes up very commonly against no trumps. Okay, but it's very important that if you've actually got a sequence of cards, you lead top of the sequence, not 4th highest. It's only when you don't have a sequence of 3 cards that you would then lead the 4th highest. If you've only got a sequence of 2 cards, lead the 4th highest. If you've only got a single high card, lead the 4th highest card. Okay, those are really important points to get right when we're on lead against no trumps. Now here's some examples of opening leads against no trump contracts. Hand 1. So we're on lead against no trumps here. Our longest, strongest suit is the spade suit. And here we have a clear sequence headed by honours. We've got a sequence of 3 continuous cards headed by an honour card. We would lead that honour card. So the right card to lead here is the Queen of Spades. Again, it sends that powerful message. It promises to your partner that you have the Jack and probably also the 10. So they can understand that you've got some good cards in spades. And hopefully if we continue to keep playing spades, although you might lose to the ace and the king, your 10 might become good, your 4 might well become a winner, and even your 2 might become a winner by the time you get to play the 5th round of spades. Okay, so the right lead here, the standout lead would be the Queen of Spades. Here's a different hand. Hand 2. Here we've got 2 quite good suits and we're on lead against no trumps. We've got 5 cards in spades and 5 cards in hearts. It could actually be right to choose either of them, but the right one to choose if you don't have any other information would be to choose the stronger suit. Okay, so here I would choose to lead the heart suit because King Queen is a stronger holding than Queen Jack. Okay, so our strongest suit is the heart suit, but here we don't have a continuous sequence of 3 cards headed by an honor, but we do still have a good holding in that suit. So here we would choose to lead the 4th highest card here. We would choose our 4th highest heart here is the 4. Okay, so by leading low, low says I like the suit. It doesn't say I love the suit. It says I like the suit. I've probably got something good in it. Partner won't be able to know that you've got the king and the queen, but they should probably be able to guess that you're leading low because you like the suit. You must have something good in it. Okay, so our 4th highest heart here is the right one here. Not the king in this situation. Here's our third example, and again we're on lead against no trumps. We want to lead our longest suit. Our longest suit is clearly spades. Here we don't have any form of sequence at all, but we've got a nice holding in spades, so we're hoping to generate spade tricks eventually. We might not win the first spade trick, we might not win the second spade trick, but ultimately, but maybe with a bit of help from partner, maybe partner's got a nice card in spades or 2, we will eventually hopefully be able to make some spade tricks. So here again we would lead the 4th highest. We don't have a sequence, we lead the 4th highest. Okay, so the fourth highest spade is the four of spades here, and again that sends that signal to partner. Partner, I'm leading a low card because I quite like this suit. I've probably got something good in it. Hopefully you'll play it back if you get a chance. If you've got something good in spades, win that now and continue with the spade suit, of course. Okay, so those are good examples of how we might lead against no trumps. Now, when we're on lead against trump contracts, things are slightly different. Defending against a trump contract, our tactics need to be different. And that's because we can't expect to keep playing our long suits, because eventually declarer will be able to trump those cards, and that long suit will be pretty useless to us. So against trump contracts, we have to be more aggressive. We have to try and set up our winners quickly, or take winners early in the hand. So top of a sequence leads are still absolutely ideal. But now we only really need a sequence of two good honours. Okay. The best example of all is the ace from a suit where you've got the king as well. So a suit headed by ace king is crying out for a lead of the ace. Here's an example. Hearts are trumps, and the bridge gods have been really kind to us here. They've given us a fantastic spade holding. We've got both the ace and the king in our spades here. Okay, so here, this is the one standout lead that you would make every single time. In a situation like this, lead the ace. Okay, the ace promises the king. Partner would know that you're not going to lead the ace unless you've also got the king. It's normally really poor to lead what we call an unsupported ace. An unsupported ace is an ace where we don't have the king immediately behind it. So just leading the ace is almost always promising that you've got the king as well. Okay. And so that's a really good opening lead. Another one, again, this time if you had two good honours, perhaps the king and the queen, that would also be a pretty good lead to make. And let's have a look at the situation of that. So let's assume hearts are trumps here, and this is the hand we've got to make the opening lead from. Here, the diamond suit looks like the best suit for us to attack here. We would lead the king, okay? And the reason we're leading the king here is even though the king might lose to the ace, we would be promoting our queen. Our queen is likely to win a trick, and possibly win the second trick of when diamonds are played. And so that would be ideal for us. By leading the king, even if declarer or dummy has the ace and it loses, hopefully there will still be room for another diamond trick before declarer is trumping, and we will win our queen of diamonds early on in the hand, and that might be a good thing to do. Okay, so sequence leads are still really attractive, but here, because we're against trump contracts, we only really need to lead a sequence of two honours. There's another great way to attack a contract where declarer has named a trump suit, and that's to lead a short suit in the hope that partner can play the suit back and you can score a trick by trumping. You need to do this before declarer has drawn out all the trumps. Now this works best if you've got what we call a singleton. A singleton means only when you have a suit with only one card in it. So here's an example. Spades are trumps here, but you have a singleton diamond. You've just got one single diamond, okay? By leading your two of diamonds here, hopefully partner can win a diamond trick and play the suit back for you to score a ruff with one of your small trumps. Now this can sometimes even work when you've got a short suit that's got a two card holding. A two card holding is called a doubleton. So here's an example. Hearts are trumps, and we've got a doubleton holding in spades. We've got two cards in spades. We want to lead spades in the hope that by playing two rounds of them, we may be able to trump the third round. Okay, but we also want to send a signal to partner to let them know that we've only got two spades. So what we do here is, first of all, we lead the higher of our two spades. We play the top one. We play the 8. Okay, now we don't know who's going to win that trick, but later on, if there's a second round of spades played, we can play the 5. And partner will have seen that we've played our spades in the wrong order. We've played high followed by low. That's a signal that says, partner, I haven't got any more spades. Now, if partner can get in before declarer has drawn all of the trumps, they might be able to play a third round of spades, and they would know that we can trump the spades. So here, when we've only got 2 cards in a suit, playing them in the wrong order by playing the high one first and the low one second sends a special signal to partner saying, partner, we've only got 2 here. We haven't got any more. If we can play a third round of that suit, I might be trumping. Okay, so there's some simple examples of leads against both no trumps and trump contracts. We'll pause there, and in the second part of this video, I'm going to show you some bad leads, some examples of leads that really you want to try and avoid making, and we'll give you some examples of some of the leads we're going to cover in the lesson.